I'm really happy to announce that we are going to have a one-to-one conversation with Attorney Daniel Lenghea, Esquire, from Daniel Lenghea Law, PA, a business and litigation law firm. Please, Daniel, join me. This is going to be something, we hope, at least, Daniel and I, quite interactive. He's going to ask you questions, or maybe even better, supply some answers to your questions. We are thrilled to welcome a distinguished guest who brings extensive knowledge and experience from both the US and Romanian markets. Our discussion will explore key growth area in business, examine the dynamic economic landscape of Romania, which is very interesting, and provide valuable insights for companies aiming to expand internationally or, across borders in Europe, in the US. Daniel, as a specialist who's very connected both to the Romanian and to the US business environment, in your opinion, what are the main growth areas in business across the US? That's for our Romanian audience.
So welcome for having me here today at Forbes. It's quite a collection of personalities that have succeeded in both Romania and the United States to accomplish something that is notable. So congratulations to all of you. I think one of the main reasons that I'm here is because of you. So thank you so much for having me. And Raluca, as always, has taken the time to invite me to some events. I was in Romania, I think in July, maybe, in any event. So my name is Daniel Lenghea. I'm Romanian. So I start being on Wall Street in 1999 when I started working for a law firm, one block away from World Trade Center. I've been a licensed attorney for 26 years in Romania, practicing in the US, capital markets. I have an MBA in financing, in capital budgeting and evaluation of foreign direct investments. And I have a Juris Doctorate degree in synthetic derivatives, which is things you want to chop investments and put them back on the market. I have had real estate exposure, business exposure, and now I'm pleased to welcome you here in New York. Romanian companies that are interested in investing in the US, possibly, and American companies who are looking to come to Romania. So I'm not trying to be pompous or anything, but being a Harvard graduate, there's this way that law schools do here about creating a dialogue. So I thought, instead of me trying to come up with answers to your questions, I just want to see by a show of hands, how many people are interested in the room to invest either from Romania to US or from US to Romania in the next 6 months to a year. So I'm going to raise my hand just as a... All right, so we have one. Romania, from Romania to US? Romania to US. That's it? 1, 2, Romania to US? US to Romania? 1? From? Romania to US. All right, good. So we have 2 and 1. Most of the other people are for awareness, I guess, for being part of the Forbes family, networking and exploring opportunities in Romania, making our circle larger, right? So she asked me, what are the elements for why people come to US, right? That's what most likely, what's the main thing that attracts? So I'm gonna throw it back. Why do you wanna come to US? You told me that you wanna come to US. Why do you wanna come to US? Just one phrase. For business. How do you define business? Is it money? Is it market share? Is it exposure? Why? Okay, cool. And then I have one more here. What was your point? Why do you look coming to US? Cool, opportunities. All right, and then you coming to Romania, why are you looking to come to Romania, or go to Romania rather? Oh, you're trying. Okay, which is true, by the way. And being here for 20-some, almost 30 years, I can tell you Romania right now, it's a very good country to be in, just for the people that are from US. I see some on the sidelines, a little bit more here. So if you're looking to go to Romania, I think it's great, because Romania has really good numbers as far as like the metrics for investing in a country. If you want to penetrate European Union, I think it's great to start with Romania, because it gives you a lot of flexibility. It has the infrastructure, it has the intelligence, and it has the HU, which is the human capital. We were just talking earlier about artificial intelligence, and a lot of people say, well, the next decades are going to be the decades of artificial intelligence. I agree with them from some perspective, but I think the next decades are going to be the decades of human capital, because there are certain things that the machines are really good at, but the machines cannot accomplish this. We're here together for a reason, and that's why we didn't do a Zoom link, because you could have easily done this in a Zoom link, and because we have a lot of indicators that we look when we're having a face-to-face interaction. Now, coming back for why United States, how many of you that here for the first time or several times have stopped at the Statue of Liberty or passed by it? Everyone? Some of you? All right. Do you know what's the meaning of the Statue of Liberty? Why was it like, it was some French guy that gave it to the US government and gifted it to them, and what does it represent? It's like this lady with the torch, and it represents enlightenment. And enlightenment, it means light, which means intelligence, which means one of the reasons why we are here together, because we are like-minded people. And if it's one thing that you can summarize why people come to US, it's, big economy, a lot of disposable income. People have a lot of money to spend on things. But I think the most important thing is that like-minded people try to associate, to be together. And this is what New York and the United States has to offer in general. Because you don't have to bend over backwards to explain to someone what business is. It's just the people, historically, they've made companies, and then they want to scale it, or they want to expand, get more money. They come to US just to accomplish that, because they're going to be understood what they want to accomplish. So I guess that's my 2 cents.
Okay, and now at this point, since you are advising many Romanian companies looking to invest in the US, and vice versa, what would you say are the main key growth areas in business in the US, which should be interesting for an investor, Romanian or otherwise?
Well, a lot of people ask me, for example, so what I do, I structure businesses. I take them based on where they are, whether they want to do angel investment or VC or private equity, and I try to structure the presence. And so basically, I don't think it's the question like what is the right thing to invest, because we're not talking about investors that are looking to buy stock at the market. So we don't do like a portfolio analysis and say, hey, look, I got $10 million, what should I invest in? That approach doesn't work that way. All of you have companies that are doing something. So the question is, if you want to have a president in the US, is what are you trying to accomplish? So the question comes back to you. What are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying, like the same thing I asked, you want more exposure? You want more market share? So a lot of companies are coming to US just because of that, because they can scale. There's also products that are, like some of the participants earlier mentioned, that are much easily, it's much easier to introduce them in the US market by being in the US. Well, for example, you want to start a new app, phone app, even artificial. I know I've dealt with people in artificial intelligence. I've dealt with people that are having modules of certain applications that do certain things. It's much easier here. Why? Because capital, when investors look at the companies that come from overseas, they look at specific indicators. So unfortunately, now considering myself, I'm Romanian, but I also have US citizenship, and being here for many years, when I look at the company that has some type of presence here, when I look at the pitch deck, like every company that has a sort of a business model, they want to try to get some type of financing, they come with a, like Richard mentioned, like a one-pager. Well, I don't know about the one-pager, but it come with the pitch deck, 10, 15 pages. So I'm looking for what's going on in there. And how do I look at them? I say, which country are they coming from? How much is this information legit? So if I have it into a location where, of course, it could be audited in Romania, we have Deloitte and we have the, the big fours and all that. But I think it shows a lot more credibility if you have even a startup in the United States when you begin the process. So if you want to start something new, it's maybe a spin-off or something that you're already doing, I strongly advise that you would start in the US. Because your access to capital, your access to the market, it's going to be a lot easier than if you would start with a Romanian company and then, but that's not necessarily wrong. I have companies that are second round, $40 million, $50 million and up. That are, they got the first round in US, they got the second round in US. Right now, they're looking at the third round. They're looking probably at the $250 million valuation. So that's nothing wrong about it. You have like a big company like Atena, or, so of course, they have a lot of, that's a private equity deal transaction all day long. They have validated figures, like one. Of course, same thing. Want to come to US? Easy, because you have audited financials, you're on the market, so people understand that language. If you are looking to start something with like 50,000, 100,000, you have an idea, much better in the US to come straight up.
I would like to ask you something really interesting. For instance, I think it's interesting, I hope it is. There are Romanian investors looking, increasingly more Romanian companies looking to expand abroad, okay? Because Romania is a great market, but it has its limitations, unless unlike the US market. How would you advise these companies? Because the temptation is to go, around in the Eastern European markets because it's maybe perceived as safer and it's more costly to come to the US. But maybe the results are better. How would you advise? For instance, if you have a product, you're a Romanian company, you have a product, it's so good, it's doing great in Romania, but you're thinking about expanding. Eastern Europe, safe bet, or the US? What do you think?
Well, I don't have a solution, and I guess the lawyerly answer would be it depends for those who are Americans or, they're used to having a law firm hired in the US. Always the lawyers will say, well, it depends. Because when I start a relationship with the client, my first initial step is how do we define success? So that's important in life, in general, in business, is how do we define success? What makes us successful? How am I going to be successful for that client? What is this client trying to accomplish?
Let's say that, they are trying to accomplish a lot of money.
A lot of money. Well, I don't know what they're doing. If they're doing watches, or if they're doing real estate, or if they're doing beauty, or they're doing medicine, with the caveat, there's all industries, and then there's real estate. So real estate has a special place. And why does real estate has a special place? Is in my book, doing transactions in real estate for now 20-some years, working in the past for JP Morgan in underwriting, and working for JP Morgan as a wholesale lender and correspondent lender and putting deals together, $50 million in a month, is that we all understand real estate. It's like the restaurant business. We all think that we could do the restaurant business, but we all sort of understand real estate. So when people come to US and they ask me, oh, I want to start something, I usually tell them, okay, so what have you done in Romania? So they tell me, oh, I've been selling water bottles, I've been selling microphones, I've been selling whatever, tables. But, I don't want to do that because I know that, and I know that in Romania very well, and I don't want to do that. I said, well, then why don't you do real estate? Because real estate, from my perspective, it's something that we naturally understand. And from some perspective, at certain level, it's not difficult to understand. You just buy a place, and you can have an exit plan. You could use it. You could let it accumulate in value. You can rent it. You could get a cash flow. You can amortize it. So that's why I think the people that are in the real estate business have an edge over any other businesses. Like, for example, you've seen some of the participants in the watch industry, how long it takes to cultivate the brand awareness, and how long does it take to create a system of need for a specific product, and how difficult it is to do that. You can't just do regular things to attract clients that will drop $100,000 on the watch. But real estate, we all have been involved. I mean, I don't know how many of you own, maybe because it's a nice crowd here, you own watches that are worth $100,000, but you all have a house, right? We all have had properties that we rented. We kind of understand that we're getting this thing is called rent, and then we have expenses. So we understand cap rate. We understand what is the return, the ROI. We sort of understand net present value. We sort of understand IRR. So real estate, special box. You want to invest in the US? Real estate, great. You want to invest in real estate in Romania? I think that's awesome. I mean, you're looking at properties, you're looking at appreciation, you take pre-construction deals, and you put a $20,000, $50,000 reservation, and they start the project from the ground, they're just at the breaking ground, and then 1.5 years later, you get 20% on top, you just doubled your money. Same thing here. So that's in a box of its own.
Yeah, exactly. And if you were, just the last question, if you were to describe the economic climate.
She's kicking me out right now. So the last question.
Yes, I am, because if you were to describe the economic climate in the US to a Romanian investor interested in the US, what would you say? How is the economy doing? Because maybe you have not the quite correct perspective from Europe.
Well, one, I don't have the crystal ball. No one has it, because if I had the crystal ball, probably I wouldn't be here. I'll be saying bye-bye from my private jet, going to, I don't know, but I'll still come here to see Raluca, which is very dear to me. I think what is important for any type of economy, and I think this is what Romania, from some perspective, has a little bit of a struggle, it's predictability. So the United States environment, it's very predictable. You do the right things will happen, and you can plan accordingly. And for those people that have a little bit of education in risk, you understand that, in order to have some type of risk model, you have to understand probability. If you understand probability well, you could do a modeling, and you can pretty much do magic with the numbers. So what United States has, and it has had for many, many years, is this great piece of paper, which is the US Constitution. The US Constitution, it's a very dynamic document, but it's very stern out there. It protects you, it protects the money, it protects your trend. I mean, a lot of people ask me this question, especially from Romania, and they say, oh, but how about if, and I'm not into politics, but like, what happens if Trump is gonna get elected? And I'm like, oh my God, there you go again. What happened if Kamala Harris is gonna become the president? Well, how about my business model?
Yeah, because in Romania, at least, we are used to, things being connected somehow.
Well, it is connected here at some level, but I'm not gonna say that it's gonna impact a business model to where it's going to make a huge change. Well, yeah, okay, they had at one point where if you bought I think it was trying to figure out, 6,000 gross weight SUV that you could deduct it in the first year, which you could never do that in Romania. You can never amortize a car in the first year of acquisition. So did they close that loop? There are going to be some changes in the way the taxation is done, But they're not going to say, oh, tomorrow we're going to change the sales tax. We're going to make it from 7%, we're going to make it 18. And then, oh, we're going to move it back to 2. That's not going to happen in here. These are not the types of moves that you will see in the United States of America, as opposed to Romania. Like, for example, I was just watching the news the other day, and then the greatest mayor of Bucharest is trying to see if we could get their permits to be moved from the sectors to be put into the general city hall, and that's going to create some type of a difficulty if you're trying to build in Bucharest, right? So, but that's not going to change in the US. So this is something that the regulatory environment from a risk perspective, when you're doing your risk modeling, you have a governmental risk, and then you have to allocate for that. And in the US, it's very simple because that stays sort of, it doesn't move. It's not that dynamic. So it's very easy from a risk perspective to do your model and say, hey, I'm putting this, and this is what my cash flow. Well, the real estate market in certain markets is going to bubble, which is something that I'm from Miami, okay? I've been in the city. I worked in the city as a litigator, as a deal maker some 20 years ago. Now I'm in Miami because of, opportunities that are out there. A lot of people moved from New York during COVID, Miami, and prices have skyrocketed. And I told the investor, I said, look, don't bet on this because this has happened some 15, 20 years ago, and it's probably the third wave. It's happening. It's going to come with a correction. If you're looking at that type of investment, well, you have waves. So obviously, it's going to be some type of correction because you have to understand the social mentality of people. They want to be in the same place. People don't want to sell it. COVID, prices went up, a lot of cash on the market. But otherwise, luxury, just looking for what I've seen today, luxury, of course. I mean, I don't know. You have a market of your own. You're not when you're selling a $100,000 watch, you're not aiming for the regular consumer. And it's like that segment, when you do your modeling, how is that segment going to change where it's going to make any type of impact on your model? When you're doing real estate, who's your target? Are you targeting the wealthy? Are you at $5 million above? Are you at, $300,000-$400,000, which is considered to be sort of like, in the US? Same thing in Romania. You have waves. You don't sell it, you rent it. You keep it rented for a period of time, and then when the market bounces back, you sell it and whatever. You amortize it in the meantime. So there are different things you could do. But overall, for me, because I've been asked this question, if you have $5 million, where would you invest? Romania. If I have $5 million right now to invest, to do something with it, place it somewhere, I'll take it to Romania. I wouldn't take it to US. Because here, US is $5 million is not that much to begin with. There's a lot of things you could do in Romania. You have governmental aid that is still coming from European Union. You could do so many things. It's a country that gives you access to European Union market. You have favorable tariff. You have Schengen. You have most favored nation from the US. You have so many tools. Take advantage of them. I mean, right now, Romania real estate, because I love real estate. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Comparison prices, Romania much cheaper than Poland. If you compare prices in European Union, Romania, it's inexpensive. It's not cheap, it's inexpensive. You get a lot of bang for your buck. You have a culture of property in Romania. People love properties. They like to improve them. They like to have them. There's a model. You could do that. So, I don't know.
Thank you, Daniel.